I'm so glad you're here today for another deep dive into the teachings of A Course in Miracles. Today, we're exploring something that might be the most fundamental illusion you're living with right now. So fundamental that you probably don't even question it. And that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Have you ever felt trapped? Not just in a situation, but trapped in a way that's more absolute, more inescapable? Maybe you've looked in the mirror and thought, "This is me. This is all I am. I'm stuck being this person, in this body, with these limitations." Maybe you've felt the weight of isolation, the sense that no matter how close you get to someone, there's always this barrier, this separation, this fundamental aloneness that you can't quite bridge. Or maybe you've experienced that strange disconnect where you're trying to communicate something important to someone, and no matter what words you use, no matter how clearly you speak, they just don't get it. And you think, if only I could make them see inside my mind. If only they could really know what I mean. That frustration, that sense of being locked inside your own head, that's not accidental. It's a symptom of something deeper. Here's what most people don't realize. You're not frustrated because communication is difficult. You're frustrated because you believe you are a body, and bodies can't truly communicate. You believe you're separate because you've identified with something that is, by its very nature, separate. And this one belief, this single misidentification, is creating every experience of limitation, isolation, and fear you've ever had. Think about how you move through your day. You look at other people and see bodies, different bodies, separate bodies, young ones, old ones, attractive ones, plain ones. And because you see separate bodies, you experience separate minds. You experience yourself as fundamentally alone, trying to connect across an impossible gap, trying to be understood through inadequate symbols called words and gestures. But what if that entire framework is backwards? What if the body isn't who you are at all, but something you're using? What if the separation you experience so acutely, so painfully, is completely illusory? What if communication between minds is actually happening all the time right now, and the only thing blocking your awareness of it is your insistence that you are this physical form? This isn't just philosophical speculation. This is about why your relationships feel incomplete. This is about why you feel lonely even when you're with people. This is about why you're afraid of death, afraid of aging, afraid of being hurt. All of it traces back to one fundamental error: believing you are a body. The Course addresses this head-on in Chapter 18, in a section called Beyond the Body. And what it reveals there isn't comfortable. It's not meant to be. It's meant to shake the very foundation of how you see yourself, because that foundation is built on sand. We're going to look at what it actually means to be beyond the body, not in some future spiritual achievement, but right now. We're going to examine how your identification with the body creates the experience of separation. We're going to see what real communication actually is when it's not filtered through the belief that you're a separate physical entity. And we're going to explore what becomes possible when you're willing to see yourself and others as something far greater than bodies. This matters right now because every moment you believe you are a body, you're choosing limitation over freedom, separation over union, fear over love. You're not doing this consciously. You're doing it automatically as a result of this one fundamental misidentification. And the beautiful thing, the liberating thing, is that this is just a belief. It can be questioned. It can be changed. Let's start with something you probably do dozens of times every day without even thinking about it. You look at someone and immediately assess tall or short, young or old, attractive or not, healthy or sick, male or female. You categorize them in seconds based entirely on what you see with your physical eyes. And here's what's happening in that moment. You're confirming that they are a body, and therefore, you are a body too. This seems so obvious, so natural, that questioning it feels almost absurd. Of course you're a body. You can see it, touch it, feel it. When someone bumps into you, you feel the impact. When you're hungry, the body demands food. When you're tired, it needs rest. The evidence appears overwhelming. But here's what the Course wants you to see. This identification with the body isn't just a neutral fact. It's a prison. And like any prison, it has walls that limit where you can go, what you can experience, and who you can be. Think about the limitations you accept as simply the way things are. You can only be in one place at a time. You can only communicate through words, gestures, expressions, and even then, you're never quite sure if you're being understood. You can see only what's in front of your physical eyes. You can know only what enters through your 5 senses. Everything beyond that is speculation, guesswork, faith at best. And the deepest limitation of all, you experience yourself as fundamentally separate from everyone else. You're in here, inside this body, looking out. Everyone else is out there, inside their bodies, looking in. And no matter how close you get physically, no matter how intimate the relationship, there's always this sense of a barrier you can't quite cross. This is what body identification creates. It's not that the body itself is evil or wrong. It's that when you believe you are the body, you accept all of its limitations as your own. You become trapped in a tiny space, a few feet of flesh and bone, and you think that's the entirety of what you are. Watch how this plays out in your daily experience. You meet someone new, and what do you notice first? Their appearance. You make instant judgments based on how they look. Are they like you or different from you? Do they fit into categories you recognize? And all of these assessments are based on one underlying assumption. They are their body, and you are yours. When you communicate with someone, you speak words and hope they'll understand. But how often do you feel truly understood? How often have you thought, they're hearing my words, but missing my meaning? That's because you're trying to bridge a gap that your belief in bodies has created. You think you're separate minds trying to connect across physical space when the truth is far different. The body seems to offer you individuality, uniqueness, a special identity that's yours alone. This is me, you think, looking at your reflection. This is what makes me different from everyone else. And the ego loves this because separateness is its foundation. As long as you believe you're a body, this particular body, different from all other bodies, you'll believe you're separate from everyone and everything. But here's what you're trading for that sense of individual identity. You're trading freedom for limitation, union for isolation, unlimited communication for inadequate symbols. You're accepting imprisonment as the price of seeming to exist as a separate self. And the Course is asking you to question whether that trade was ever worth making. Now here's where it gets interesting and maybe even a little uncomfortable. If you're not a body, then what is the body? Is it meaningless? Should you ignore it, transcend it, pretend it doesn't exist? Absolutely not. That would just be another form of the same error, making the body central to your identity, just in reverse. The Course teaches something far more subtle and far more practical. The body is a communication device. It's a tool, a means of expression in this world of form. But it's not what you are, and recognizing that distinction changes everything. Think about your phone for a moment. You use it to communicate, to access information, to connect with people. But you don't think you are your phone. When your phone breaks or becomes outdated, you don't have an identity crisis. You get a new phone and continue on. The phone is useful, but it's not you. That's closer to the body's actual function. It's a temporary learning device, a communication tool that allows you to interact in the physical world while you're here. But the real you, the mind, the awareness, the consciousness that's reading these words right now, that's not contained in the body. That's not limited by the body. That exists completely beyond the body. Here's what most people miss. Communication doesn't happen body to body. It never has. Real communication happens mind to mind, and it's happening all the time right now, whether you're aware of it or not. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt tension, even though no one said a word? Have you ever thought of someone and they called you moments later? Have you ever known what someone was going to say before they said it? That's not coincidence. That's not telepathy in some mystical sense. That's the natural communication between minds that's always occurring beneath the level of words and bodies. The body is just translating this mind-to-mind communication into physical symbols, words, gestures, expressions. But those symbols are crude approximations of what's actually being communicated. When you identify with the body, you think those symbols are the communication. You think the words themselves carry the meaning. And then you wonder why you feel so often misunderstood. But when you stop identifying with the body, something shifts. You start to recognize that what you're really communicating with is another mind, not another body. And minds can join. Minds can share understanding completely without the limitations of language or physical expression. This doesn't mean you stop using words or caring for the body. It means you use them consciously, as tools, rather than being imprisoned by them as your identity. You speak words, but you're aware that the real communication is happening at a deeper level. You interact with bodies, but you're aware that what you're really connecting with is the mind behind the body. Let me give you a practical example. You're having a conversation with someone about something important. At the body level, you're speaking words back and forth, but at the mind level, something else is happening. Either you're joining in understanding or you're reinforcing separation. Either you're extending love or you're defending against it. And which one happens has nothing to do with the words themselves and everything to do with the purpose you're holding in your mind. When you use the body as a means of communication for the Holy Spirit's purpose, to extend love, to join, to heal separation, the body becomes useful. When you use it for the ego's purpose, to prove you're separate, to defend your individual identity, to get something for yourself alone, the body becomes a prison again. The freedom isn't in escaping the body. The freedom is in no longer identifying with it, in recognizing what it actually is, a neutral tool that can be used for either purpose, and consciously choosing to use it for joining rather than separation. This is what it means to live, beyond the body, while still appearing to be in one. So how does this actually work in your daily life? How do you see someone beyond their body when a body is literally what's standing in front of you? This isn't about pretending you don't see physical forms. It's about what you choose to focus on when you look at someone. Right now, think of someone in your life. Picture them in your mind. What do you see? Probably their face, their physical characteristics, maybe what they usually wear. Now, ask yourself, is that really them? Or is that just the costume they're wearing in this dream of separation? Here's a practice that will change how you experience every interaction. When you look at someone, silently acknowledge to yourself, I am not seeing a body. I am seeing a mind like my own, temporarily identifying with a body just as I am. This simple recognition shifts everything. Watch what happens in the grocery store, in traffic, in your workplace. You see someone and you're automatic. Reaction is to categorize them based on their body. Young, old, attractive, plain, same as you, different from you. But what if you pause for just a second and remember, that's not a body. That's a mind that wants peace just like I do. A mind that's afraid just like I am. A mind that's searching for love just like me. This isn't some sentimental exercise in feeling connected. This is recognizing reality. Behind every body you see is a mind that's having the exact same fundamental experience you are, believing it's separate, trying to find its way home, looking for love in a world that seems to offer only temporary substitutes. And here's what becomes possible when you see this way: real communication. Not the surface exchange of words and pleasantries, but actual joining at the level of mind. You don't have to speak differently or act differently, but your purpose changes. Instead of using the interaction to confirm separation, to get something, to prove something, to defend something, you're using it to recognize sameness. Let me show you how immediate this can be. You're in a difficult conversation with someone. Maybe they're angry with you. Maybe you're frustrated with them. At the body level, you see someone separate from you, attacking you or blocking what you want. And your automatic response is to defend, to attack back, to withdraw. But what if you pause and remember, this isn't a body attacking another body. This is a mind terrified of separation, reaching out in the only way it knows how, even if that way looks like attack. And you're a mind too, with the power to respond from love instead of fear. You don't have to accept abuse. You don't have to become a doormat, but you can set boundaries. You can speak truth. You can even walk away if necessary, all while holding in your awareness that what you're really dealing with is a mind calling for love, however distorted that call might appear. This is what extension means. It means letting your awareness of truth extend beyond the body you seem to inhabit to touch the truth in the mind you're interacting with. And when this happens, something shifts in both minds. Not always dramatically, not always in ways you can measure, but the connection is made beyond all the body's limitations. The freedom you're looking for isn't in some future state where you've transcended the body completely. It's available right now, in this interaction, in this moment, when you choose to see beyond the physical and recognize the mind behind it. This is how you live beyond the body while appearing to be in one. Not by denying physical reality, but by recognizing what's more real than physical reality. Not by rejecting the body, but by using it for its actual purpose, as a communication device for love, for joining, for healing the belief in separation. And every time you do this, every time you choose to see beyond the body to the mind behind it, you're practicing freedom. You're remembering who you really are. You're extending love instead of reinforcing limitation. This is the liberation the Course offers. Not someday, right now. So here's where we've arrived. You're not a body. You never were. The body is a communication device, a temporary tool for learning and joining in this world of form. But what you really are, the mind, the awareness, the eternal part of you, exists completely beyond all physical limitations. This isn't just theory to contemplate. This is something you can practice right now, today, in your very next interaction. Look at someone and choose to see beyond their body. Recognize the mind behind the physical form. Communicate with the intention of joining rather than separating. Use your body as a means of extending love instead of defending a false identity. Every time you do this, you're choosing freedom over imprisonment. You're choosing truth over illusion. You're remembering who you really are beneath all the layers of. The prison of body identification has no locks except the ones you've placed there yourself. And what you've locked, you can unlock. What you've chosen to believe, you can choose to question. What you've used to separate, you can use to join. This is your invitation to live beyond the body while appearing to be in one, to communicate mind to mind while using words and gestures, to experience the freedom that's always been yours, just waiting for you to remember it. Thank you. If this exploration resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to continue this journey through A Course in Miracles together. Share this with someone who might be ready to question their identification with the body, someone who's searching for freedom from limitation. You can also support this channel through Super Thanks. That's what allows me to keep these videos free and accessible to everyone who needs them, regardless of their circumstances. I'll see you in the next video, continuing this journey of remembering who you really are. Until then, peace be with you. Thank you.